What's up, everybody? It's VC here, coming at you with another video. It's about anything and everything. Nothing's off the table. I'm just off the cuff. That's what I'm talking about. And so, today's the Super Bowl, or they don't like to call it the Super Bowl. Anybody outside the NFL. Sorry, excuse me, my voice is itchy. I'm trying to prevent myself from coughing. And so, anybody outside the NFL, you got to call it the big game, right? Which is kind of weird to me, but um, yeah. Even like advertisers, they have to still refer to it as a big game. You know, I worked in the beer business for a long time years back, and yeah, even if and I worked for a Budweiser distributor too, and they still had to refer to it as the big game. It's like, get out of here, man. But yeah, that was back years back before my current occupation in law enforcement. Back before Budweiser, Bud Light, whatever, turned woke. This is years before they went woke. When they were still doing like manly advertisements and the stuff that Gen Z advertisers for Bud Light at the time, these recent times, would say it's too fratty. That chick said it's too fratty. It's like, get out of here, man. With your woke shit. Obviously, that backfired, and rest is history. But anyhow, that's not the point of this. Well, it kind of is, because people like her, didn't earn it. If you get what I'm saying. DEI, and so and it was a white chick too. Um, but yeah, that's actually the point of this discussion, anyways, right? So let's get to it here, right? So one of the things that they're removing from the Super Bowl is this thing at the end zone called end racism, right? And you know what? To be honest, I never noticed it. I watch football, right, all the time because I like playing fantasy football and all that too. So I watch football, but it just never really struck me that it was there in the end zone this whole time, especially over the last 4 years, right, since 2021. And what stemmed from it was, of course, George Floyd, right? The whole George Floyd incident in Minnesota. And so, lots of organizations like to virtue signal and do all these different things, So NFL did their part in virtue signaling by putting in racism there, right? As a way to kind of like fall into the wokeness that was happening in early 2020s and all that. And it goes beyond that, right? Because come to find out, when it comes to DEI and all that, that was actually written into law or policy by Obama. All right. And so Obama had to write something to put into the system to cheat people that earned it, right? Merit based, earned it based off skills, experience, maybe test score, standards, just better overall candidate in favor of, you know, diversity, equity, and inclusion, but people that did not earn it, people that really did not qualify. But because you are, especially white, then you are bypassed for people of color. All right. And so that's what DEI is, right? In a nutshell. So I thought it was interesting that, before the Super Bowl, a few days before, the NFL announced that they're going to change the slogan at the end racism part of the end zone there. I guess they're done virtue signaling. Plus, it's like it just ongoing. This is kind of political, right? Because if you keep reminding everybody, it's never going to go away. You know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of like reverse mental reverse, because you're just putting it there to remind everybody. And if you're trying to get past something, time heals a lot of things, and to me, look how many years removed we got from this whole like movement of being woke, defunding police, George Floyd, all that stuff, right? You find out a lot of new things, right? You come to find out, oh, you do need to fund police, right? Oh, maybe George Floyd died from other reasonings, but not from the officer. Oh, you know, oh, maybe woke is not such a good idea because it makes you go broke, right? And businesses suffered, and anybody that promoted wokeness suffered. But it had to take those kind of things to happen to kind of see, okay, maybe virtue signaling and wokeness, DEI, all that stuff wasn't such a good idea. All right. Even though Obama written it into law or whatever it was, um, to kind of promote DEI and all that, I don't know if his intentions were good, but it kind of set things backwards, right? Because we got out of what was that other version called? Shit. Damn it. What is it called? It is the other phrase they used to call it is damn it. It is the other version of DEI was damn it. All I could think of was Prop 209, but it's not Prop 209. Shit. I'm gonna have to look it up now. It's something so simple too, and I can't even think of it. All right, let me do this real quick. Prop 209. That's all I could think of. Affirmative action. Why? I don't know why I couldn't think of that. Yeah, all it was is just another phrase for affirmative action. There you go. Affirmative action was kind of a similar deal. I think it was like in the 90s or something like that. Early 2000s, I don't know. Where it was kind of pushing to help push more minorities into things. Kind of like being accepted at colleges and things like that. Race. It was kind of race based. So, if you looked at it, even though you're white and you noted that you're white, well, you're not going to be accepted because they're going to be looking for more of other races to go to college and all that stuff. And so it's kind of similar to that, and other aspects of what you call it, of life. All right. So instead of again merit based, right? You scored high on test. Shouldn't matter what skin color you are. Just depends on how hard did you study. All right. Do you consistently do your homework every night and test? You slept well and took a good test, right? Have you maintained good, steady grades, right? When it comes to that sort of thing. And so, if you maintain that throughout your school career, that should be a merit of how you go to college, or or if you gain skills because you worked at different jobs and had a good reputation. Okay, then that's how you get looked at for promotion and things like that, right? So you don't get it because it's your race, right? And so it's almost like you're trying to cheat people ahead to get something that maybe they just didn't deserve or should not have earned it, right? That's what DEI means, did not earn it. So with all that, NFL decided to remove the end racism and decided to put a different slogan there. All right, so let's take a look here. I'm going to go with, let's see here. I'm going to go with, what's a good one here to go with? Something nice, short and sweet here. Let's go with this one.
It is Super Bowl week with the big game just days away, and the focus is on the showdown between the Chiefs and Eagles. But, like it or not, sometimes sports and politics do intersect. This year, the message stenciled in the back of the end zone is drawing scrutiny. For the first time since 2020, the league will not be displaying the phrase "end racism." Instead, one end of the field will have the phrase "choose
Okay, so I misstated. I said 2021 is 2020.
love." The other will read "it takes all of us." The message
So choose love, and it takes all of us. All right, I'm going to give you my thoughts on all that in a moment here.
in the end zone is part of the Inspire Change program that began in 2018. Commissioner Roger Goodell said Monday the NFL has no plans to change that program despite the federal government and several major corporations deciding to roll back their diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives.
We got into diversity efforts because we felt it was the right thing for the National Football League. And we're going to continue to those efforts because we've not only convinced ourselves, I think we've proven ourselves that it does make the NFL better.
Field painting and final preparations at the New Orleans Superdome were finished over the weekend. As for what inspired the choice of this year's slogans, NFL spokesperson Brian McCarthy said in a statement, they reflect the recent tragedies the country has suffered, such as the wildfires in California, the terrorist attack in New Orleans on New Year's Eve, and the recent plane crash in Washington, D.C. We felt it was an appropriate statement for what the country has collectively endured given recent tragedies and can serve as an inspiration, the statement read. The Super Bowl is often a snapshot in time, and the NFL is in a unique position to capture and lift the imagination of the country. McCarthy says during the regular season and playoffs, the home team chooses the messaging displayed on the field, but during the Super Bowl, it is a league decision, and that decision was not influenced by the country's current political climate.
Yeah, so, this whole slogan stuff on the end zone, because it's part of this program they've done since 2018. So it's before, it could be a woke thing, just to kind of, inspire change and all that stuff, right? And I don't know. I think what they're doing with the end racism removal is to start to distance itself from the DEI sort of aspect and wokeness of virtue signaling and all that stuff is what I think is what they're doing without really saying it. They're doing it, right? And choose love, right? How about choose nothing? Just leave it blank, just leave it an empty area like it always has been, because it's just a football field. You know what I'm saying? NFL. I know it's a huge, money sport, right? Lots of millions and millions of dollars through advertisements and revenue and all that stuff goes to the NFL. It's a popular sport, right? And so, lots of eyes watch it, especially the Super Bowl, right? It's a good time to remove that slogan. And is it connected to the whole thing with Trump ending DEI? I kind of think it is without them saying it, even though they say, oh, no, it has nothing to do with it. That's fine. They don't have to admit to it. Why not? Why? Because it'll cause anger, frustration, chaos with certain communities that want that there, right? And racism, right? To me, I think sports should stay out of the political arena, right? Stay out of politics, right? Why? You know what I'm saying? Like, why even do that, right? It's like, keep politics out of sports. Let people enjoy the game, right? That's the whole basis, the idea of the sport in the first place. It's just to watch the game. If they want to advertise stuff, that's cool, but when it comes to political stuff and virtue signaling and all that other crap, it's like I think that it should just be away from the game, because politics has nothing to do with the sport. Sport is an entertainment, right? Keep that out. So when going back when Colin Kaepernick decided to take a knee, right? And he took a knee and kind of started things, and he wanted to make a point. But to me, it was disrespectful to the country in itself because he was trying to get political. Well, guess what happened? He ruined his career, right? And, he said, she said, they said, whatever said, right? Doesn't matter. To me, as soon as he took that knee, he threw all that money out the door. The opportunities, the money, all that stuff, gone. Threw it all away. Because he decided he wanted to be political rather than be a player. Right? And so that's on him when you look at it. Here, let me look that up. Let me look up your boy Colin Kaepernick, right? The civil rights activist, right? What else can he do now? Because he can't play football. Nobody wants him, right? So he had the opportunity. Drafted decently high, right? Was he like second round pick, I think? I think it was second round. Was he second round? It didn't say what round here, but he threw his career away because he wanted to take a knee, you know? He had some talent, and we had a good coach, right? Back then with Jim Harbaugh with the Niners. And the thing about it was he was able to take the skills that he had and utilize it to the fullest and brought out the best out of him. And so somewhere in his Pete Brain head, he decided that he wanted to take a knee and be an activist rather than be the player. And that was such a distraction. That's the reason why the Niners said, we can't deal with this shit. Right? Because rather than just focus on the sport, focus on the game, focus on winning, you wanted to do other things. Well, then, there you go. He made that choice. And then, ever since then, he's been saying that, he's always staying ready, and, he's never had the opportunity to get back in the game. Because at one point, he tried to sue the league, too. Like, is that going to do you any favors to get back in the league if you're going to sue the league for collusion or whatever because everybody's being told not to bring him back? No, because nobody wants a distraction, right? Nobody wants someone to get political and distract everybody from playing the game, because it's just going to bring the whole team down. They don't need that shit. So, guess what? Well, he made that choice. He's going to have to take it and eat it. Threw away millions, all right? Just because he was trying to, I guess, make a point, right? I mean, how far did that get him? Well, I mean, what's he really do now? Just an activist? I mean, how much millions of dollars could he have set himself up for all these years that he could have been playing? Probably could still be playing right now. He's only 37. Probably could still be playing somewhere in the league. But no one wants that, the politics in the game. And that made it very clear when nobody picked him up to this day. As many times as he's called teams when they were injured at quarterback and said, hey, I'm right here, I'm ready, pick me up, I could play. They said, nope, we'll go pick up some journeyman that is a second to third stringer career-wise, and we'll pick him up instead, rather than deal with this guy who has a slinging arm. I mean, he slings balls, fireballs, right? Athletic, fast, but they'd rather pick up some journeyman that, never really became a starter in the league than to pick a guy like him. That's sad, So, how's that work for you? DEI and all that, you know what I'm saying? Choose love, right? I mean, what's all this crap? Just get rid of all this stuff. Just stay out of it. That's what I think. And so that brings me to since we're talking about DEI and all that, a couple weeks back, uh, Trump, made an executive order when he first came into office to end all diversity programs, DEI, and put all federal DEI staffers on paid leave. All right. So let's take a look at that news piece.
At Sutter, being there when you need us never stops.
Let me see here. I'll use News Nation because
DEI is seemingly dead, keeping with the campaign promise made by President Trump. On day one, the new president signed an executive order eliminating federal DEI programs. DEI stands for diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now, the federal government, the largest employer in our country, will set a new tone for other companies. News Nation's Rich McHugh is live with how this is likely to trickle down, Rich, to other workplaces.
Hi, Nicole. So one incoming Trump official says that private businesses should be on a wait and see that there are more actions coming soon. And as you mentioned, this has been a campaign promise from the Trump administration and Trump himself. Since the beginning, he promised that he would terminate diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. And now those DEA policies, they're going away. In his inaugural speech yesterday, President Trump said the new policies will be colorblind and merit-based, and also made clear the new federal position, there are two genders.
Yeah, because why are you trying to preference, races over merit? You know what I'm saying? So, and we've seen examples of that. It's gone so bad. But you look at something like the sports, like the NFL that I just talked about. There's nothing about it that is preference. It's all skills, right? Every one of them athletes on the field are there because they are highly skilled, and none of them's there because of they have merit, right? It's none of them are there because of their race, right? It just so happens in the NFL, I think it's skewed more black, African American, because they're the more athletic, They're the more merit-based. They're the more skilled, So it is what it is, right? You don't need to have these programs to push for that. You just got to demonstrate those skills for yourself. And if you make it, you make it. And if you don't, you don't. I mean, what's wrong with that? That's always been the case in everything, right? So to do DEI, to me, it's kind of a form of discrimination anyways.
This week, I will also end the government policy of trying to socially engineer race and gender into every aspect of public and private life.
Yeah, it's the same thing. They're trying to make this push with 30% of the law enforcement workforce. They're trying to get, of women by 2030. But it's like, and I hate to say it, but they're lowering standards. They're trying to make it so more women can come on board, but they got to be able to do the job. They got to be able to handle, the essential functions of what it takes to be in law enforcement and everything. And if they got it, they got it. That's cool. But if they don't lower the standards to make them fit just because they're females, like what's that, But there's that big push going on right now.
We will forge a society that is colorblind and merit-based.
It makes so much sense. I mean, that's just common sense. It's always been like that up until we got woke.
It will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
Yeah.
Now, in the executive order, President Trump called them, quote, illegal and immoral discrimination programs within our federal government. It states,
yeah, because affirmative action, DEI, all that stuff is discrimination towards mainly whites. I mean, that's what it is. And, it's really focusing on race outside of white, And I'm not, I'm not, trying to advocate for this whole thing with whites and all that stuff. I'm just trying to advocate that, you get picked up for a reason, right? You get picked up because you have the skills, the know-how, the merit, the background to do all that, because if you couldn't do the job, you wouldn't qualify to do the job in the first place. It's like that everywhere. I just don't know why we need to have it to push this agenda of bringing more people in that maybe does not qualify. So I think it was great that it is, what Trump did in removing DEI from everything, because it is discrimination.
Quote, the Biden administration forced illegal and immoral discrimination programs going by the name Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, DEI, into virtually all aspects of the federal government in areas ranging from airline safety to the military. This is a major shift from President Biden overturning the DEI policies which he put in place on day one of his administration, the Biden administration. In a call with reporters Monday, one incoming Trump official says it will direct the Office of Management and Budget personnel to end illegal mandates preferences. They said it is limited to federal government employees, of which there are 3 million. But we have already seen a shift with some big companies moving away from these practices. Walmart, Meta, Amazon, even McDonald's is reportedly moving away from this, Nicole.
Yeah, and we expect likely to be more companies doing the same. All right. Rich McHugh live for us. Rich, thank you. Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com.
Yeah, so there you go, right? She's not bad for, she's good looking. That's all I got to say. But yeah, so no more DEI, because, what's the point? Look at the problems we have with DEI, right? Look who's running the cities, the blue cities. It's all DEI hires. Kamala Harris, DEI hire. Nothing but problems, right? San Francisco got voted out. The mayor there, London Breed, DEI. Oakland mayor voted out, DEI, or she got recalled, DEI. LA, DA, voted out, DEI, right? Garbage. Gascon, garbage. All right. Brandon Johnson should be out of there in Chicago. He's just terrible. Right? DEI. The list goes on and on. Come on. Kamala Harris, and she's supposedly going to be the next governor of California. You guys want her for that? Come on, man. You got to wake up for this DEI bullshit. All right. So, yeah, I'm just glad that this is done. All right. Because, the DEI is such bullshit. And it does need to go. And I'm just glad that someone just really stepped up to do it, like Trump, to just get it out of here. So that's where it's at there. Since it's the Super Bowl, I wanted to mention this whole thing with, when it comes to, I went the other way. There we go. With this whole removing the slogan and all that stuff, because this whole virtue signaling and all that, it's just a bunch of crap. And just glad that I think they made the move to kind of slowly remove itself. So they decided to put something like choose love, to get away from something sensitive like this in racism. Because like in racism, all it does is just going to keep reminding people about racism, and you can't really end it when you are trying to get away from it. Right, so what you got to do? You got to stop reminding people of it. All right, and so, and I do like the reasoning to it. Right, we have all these disasters going on right now. We need more to show support for the people that have experienced, the natural disasters that have happened across America. So, I don't know if choose love is a good message, though. I don't know. I still think I'm just say again, stay out of the politics and just not put anything there, at all. Stop this program that the NFL is doing. All right, this woke shit. So that's where I stand with all that. So I wanted to mention that stuff. I guess since we're talking about DEI, which gives advantage to people that shouldn't and doesn't qualify, did not earn it. Let's talk about another thing that Trump did too, right? So besides that, all right, he also put into law recently in terms of, you know, his in form of executive order was to, I guess, end any sort of favoritism or whatever towards transgender, right? So, when it came to funding for anything transgender based, right? So, especially in the sports. So, signs executive order banning transgender athletes from women's sports. Because, again, like, the thing about it is that he recognized two genders, right? He already made that a point on the first day. And by doing that, the next step in the process is banning transgender athletes. People are tired of, guys born as guys trying to dress as girls to go into female locker rooms and try to be a girl and all this other stuff, right? People are tired of that shit. Women are tired of that shit. It's an invasion of women's space. And it makes so much sense for that to happen because I don't care what the argument is. The argument about, they need to play too. They have rights and all that stuff. How about no? I think what it is, let's do this. Let's go look at this here.
Here's defending the right.
Here's my take on it. These guys are so much as being losers in life that they, couldn't win as a guy, so they had to be a female to beat females to feel like a winner. You know what that makes you know what that makes it sound like to me? Makes them still sound like a loser, right? And that's what the transgenders are when it comes to transgenders in sports, because they can't win in their own born gender, so they go to switch a gender and try to take advantage of that advantage because they got male hormones and things like that to beat out everybody to win. That still makes them a loser. So they're just complete losers.
And safety and pride of the American people, including our great, great, great female athletes. What athletes you are, too. Tell you.
Riley Gaines right there, the blonde. Very vocal about banning transgender
and, I'm not allowed to say this politically. It could end my career. They're really beautiful people. These are beautiful people. But like everything else, it's a little bit different today. You're not allowed to say that because if you call a woman or a girl beautiful, that's the end of your career. But let's take a chance on it, Mike. Let's take a chance. So I want to thank everybody for being here. It's fantastic. And this is sort of a big, big day. It shouldn't have even...
Yeah, people are too sensitive. Like, you can't say nice things and then you get sued or it bites you in the ass because you said something nice. Like, come on, people. Like, that's what happened with being woke and virtue signaling and all this crap that's been going on in America these last few years. Is that people are too damn sensitive, and it's just a bunch of nonsense and bullshit, and we're all over it, So this was a good move, though.
Been necessary to take place. This started a long time ago, and we ended it today. And I'm going to sign the executive order right now, and everything I said will go into effect immediately, okay? Thank you. Down front. Thank you. Thank you so much. Everybody, thank you. If you'd like to gather around me, I think I'm going to be okay. Come on. Come on. Secret Service is worried about them. If we have to worry about them, we have big problems. Okay, do you want to do this? Watch what I do, and then I'm going to give you some pens, okay? Are you ready? What a nice picture this is, huh, Governor? You ready? We'll do a good job. Wait, let me press that. I want to make this a really good signature because this is, this is a big one, right? Oh, I think we have a 10. We have a 10.
God bless you, Mr. President.
Pretty good, huh? I see that. Okay? Good. Now you're going to go out and win those events, right? Good. Nice to see you all. Nice to see you. Great going, everybody. Nice to see you. Thank you, kids. Here, take a pen. I'll give some of these out, okay? Take a pen. Take a pen.
Thank you so much.
Where's Riley?
It is justice, though, for females. I mean, I do believe that it is the right move. I just don't believe that transgender belong in women's sports. It's just because, and like I said, they could make all the arguments they want. Oh, they're females too, and all this other stuff. They're still male, born male. They still got hormone. When it comes to what do you call that? Maybe they're not producing sperm because they got like hormone blockers and all that stuff for testosterone, but still, you're born with testosterone. You're still born with male anatomy, right? Male bones, male musculature, right? That gives you a born advantage that you can't get away from. You can't get away from biology. And it doesn't belong in women's sports, period. And if they are so dead set on being a competitor because they're losers as being a guy, then there should be a transgender division then. And then they can compete with one another. Maybe there's some females that want to be like a guy and they want to compete in sports. All right, boom, you could compete. And the same thing, if they want to compete in sports amongst themselves, because they're born losers, and they can't compete as a guy, and they want to compete as a girl, all right, have at it. Have your own league and compete in your own sport. See who's the better of that, So that's my take on it, because anybody can just claim to be something and then take over a sport, And I remember there was a time a few years back when a bodybuilder there was a bodybuilding competition for females, right? And the funny thing was, it was a female competition. A male bodybuilder comes in, straight male, because they said they cannot deny anybody. So he said, all right, well, if they said they can't deny nobody, he's trying to make a point. He said, all right, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to claim female. And so he goes in there and he says, I'm a female and I want to compete. And they said, well, we can't deny nobody. So he destroyed the competition because obviously he's male. But because he says he declared himself female, they can't deny him. So he killed the competition, right? Just to make a point. And then won and all that stuff, just to say how stupid it was for even considering all this stuff. Like, it's okay to say no, that you don't belong, So, that was the whole point of it. I want to see if I can find that footage. That was so funny. I just wanted to just show this one as my last clip, and then that's it. All right, so here it is. Trans woman's powerlifting record broken by a man to prove a point. All right, and that was the thing too.
You restoring my accent?
There's a transgender that dominated the women's powerlifting record. All right, think about that. It was a trans woman. That means a guy. And so he goes in there because he claimed to be a woman. Even though he's not a woman, he just claimed to be. just to prove a point. And this is exactly what I was talking about. The story I was telling you. It was funny as hell, and she got pissed. The transgender. It's like, dude, you already broke the rules, bitch. All right, just because someone beat you, and it was a guy also. Hey, that's on you, bitch.
Access to the HR
Funny
portal,
as hell.
right? Compliance reports due, and I need that.
But
access
again,
ASAP.
it shows you
Nope.
that
A man identified
trash.
as a female at a powerlifting competition, and what happened next was just insane. Avi Silverberg, the head coach for Canada's women's powerlifting team, had been coaching for a decade and was frustrated. He watched as his students kept losing to a trans woman named Anne Andres. Anne had set a bench press record of 275 pounds and was mocking Avi's students for having a weak bench press.
Yeah, because you're a male, bitch, right? Because they're losers. They're losers. That's why they have to cross over to the female division by being a transgender or whatever, because they can't win. So they do it this way so they could be a winner. All right, that's how mentally, like down they are with themselves, that they're just big time losers. Period.
Why is women's bench so bad? I mean, not compared to me. We all know that I'm a tranny freak, so that doesn't count. And no, we're not talking about Mackenzie Lee. She's got little T-Rex arms and she's like 400 pounds of chest muscle, apparently. I mean, standard bench in powerlifting competition for women, I literally don't understand why it's so bad.
Avi was enraged and wanted to defend his students, so he decided to compete as a female. He set his pronouns to whatever lets me win and checked off the female category.
Yeah.
With Anne watching closely, Avi started by benching 320 pounds with ease. Avi was feeling strong and loaded up for a final attempt of 369 pounds. The weight still quickly exploded off his chest. Anne was furious and called Avi a coward with malicious intent.
Somebody did show up at the meet today with malicious intent. And you know what?
Taste of your own medicine, bitch.
It was nothing. It was just entirely ignored. People lifted. I volunteered. Everyone was happy that I was there. And it really struck me that maybe my participation isn't necessarily fair. I mean, there's science, whatever. But people welcome me because I'm actually nice to people. I show up and I try to make everyone happy. And
you're cheating.
I think that matters a hell of a lot more than people give it credit for.
Whatever Let Me Win's record is still in the books today. Who do you think is in the right?
Sorry. Come on, man. That's just that's the problem, So it should both be squashed out. He only did it to prove a point that transgender doesn't belong in a female competition. Period. And so I'm glad that male bodybuilder did that, or a powerlifter did that. So that was my whole point. All right, and that's why Trump made it into law to ban transgender in sports, because it's just a male advantage. It's a biological male in women's sports. They don't belong. And then DEI's program is gone. We need people that qualify, that are merit-based to earn the jobs, not just race. And that's been a problem everywhere across the board ever since this became a thing, because there was no more affirmative action, so DEI came into place. And look what happened. You got understaffed, airline control, air control towers, because they're looking for more, race-based hires rather than merit-based hires. When you have a lot of people qualify that can work the job, they're so understaffed because they can't hire enough DEI-based people. All right, and so that's why the FAA was understaffed to control the flight towers and all that stuff. And that's why you had things like the helicopter crash into a plane and all that stuff recently. But anyhow, enough of all that stuff. I just wanted to bring this up with the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl, end racism slogans and things like that. So that was my whole point of it here. All right. Happy Super Bowl. Go Eagles. All right. Tired of the Chiefs. I'm tired of the Kelseys. I'm tired of Taylor Swift. Go Chiefs. I'll see you in the next one. Comment down below. And also, I'm on Rumble. I'm on YouTube. Enough of that from me. All right. I'll see you in the next one.